Well, hey everybody, we're here today. We're going to have a little bit of an interview with Megan, who is an asthma sufferer, and she works with me, and I'm trying to collect some interviews on this. And so tell us a little bit about your history, Megan.
I was diagnosed when I was 14. I've had it my whole life, but I was not diagnosed properly until 14. I have been on almost every medication there is, from the Max Air, the Advair, I've had albuterol, I've had the Ventolin, I've had Zopanex, I have a breathing machine at home that I use, and it's terrible.
Yeah. In your early childhood, I mean, you grew up in LaGrow. I know we've talked about that and kind of joked about it some, but was there anything in like your household or anything that you think might have contributed to contracting it, or why do you think you have asthma, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, our house was very old.
Yeah.
It was built probably 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's mold.
Mm-hmm.
We always had animals. Mm-hmm. With the pet danders and the different types of dust. Mm-hmm. But there was also a foundry in LaGrow.
Oh.
And there'd be days it'd smell the whole town up.
Yeah.
And going outside in the summertime as a kid, I couldn't, because I couldn't breathe.
Yeah. So even early on, before 14, then you were having symptoms. You just didn't, nobody in your family knew what they were? Or?
They didn't believe me.
Oh. They thought you were just trying to play the sick card and get attention or something?
Yep.
Yeah, we had that a few times with my daughter on some things, and we kind of regret not listening.
Yeah.
But, well, you know, in these older houses and stuff, that's seen as a potential place for, you know, some of the things that contribute, the whole, you know, the environmental part. Do you know of anybody else in your family that's been diagnosed with asthma?
I honestly think I'm the only one.
Really?
Yes. I don't have any cousins. My brothers are perfectly healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I smoke now.
Yeah.
I didn't as a child or until I was 16, 17 years old.
Well, let's touch on that. I mean, does smoking bother you with your asthma, or how does that affect you?
The few times I have quit, my asthma is triggered a lot easier than it is. I can go into a bar where they're smoking if I smoke. Mm-hmm. If I stop smoking, I cannot be around it. Mm-hmm. It'll instantly trigger an asthma attack.
Wow. So it's almost like you're doomed to smoke then, in a way.
A sense.
Have you noticed that it makes your asthma any worse when you do smoke, though?
In the mornings, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Because I have the shortness of breath, my chest is really tight.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take a big breath.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you have a lot of health issues, drainage wise and sinus wise, that are caused by the smoking that increase my asthma.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, how many doctors would you say that you've been to since you were 14?
Oh, just for my asthma, I have seen 2 specialists. They were pulmonologists. One was in Kokomo. There was another one in Fort Wayne that I went to. I had a regular asthma doctor in Wabash, where I used to live. Then I transferred to a regular doctor in Kokomo. And then I have a doctor here that I see sometimes for the asthma.
Is a lot of it just prescription medicine that they prescribe for you, or?
Well, a lot of them tried when I was 14, when I was first diagnosed. They put me on the strongest medicine on the market, mm-hmm. which my body got used to. So anything less than that didn't work.
Oh.
So they had to wean me off of the strong medicine, and then put me onto lower dosages. Mm-hmm. But they also had to give me a breathing machine, because since they took away what my body was used to, I couldn't breathe.
Yeah. Well, let's walk through. Well, first of all, have you ever talked to any of these doctors about smoking and asthma?
Yes.
What's their reaction?
They're not happy with me. They tell me that I'm further damaging my lungs, that there's all kind of health risks included with smoking and asthma. You run into COPD, you run into lots of breathing issues, lung cancer, and I can't quit.
Well, and you feel like that to a certain extent the opposite is true in terms of what your personal experience is. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, let's walk you through a normal day with asthma.
Ooh. Usually before I wake up, I have to use my inhaler in the middle of the night, because even in my sleep, there are sometimes triggers, and I wake up having an asthma attack and I cannot breathe. So I'll wake up, I'll use my rescue inhaler, which you are only supposed to use in the case of a massive attack.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to use them every day. I use mine almost every single day.
Wow.
And they're not happy about that, but they can't put me on other medicine because I've already had it.
Mm-hmm.
So after the morning, I usually, as soon as I wake up, I light a cigarette. Does not help with the asthma whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
On to like the drive, I can't take deep breaths. My chest is real tight. It's almost like there's a weight on your chest because you cannot take in the deep breaths that most people take for granted.
Yeah.
It's almost like breathing through a straw.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety, if I have like a panic or anything, it will increase my breathing and then I can't breathe. So then I have to carry my inhaler everywhere I go. Even in the case that usually I have one in my car, I carry one in my purse. Normally I notify people where I work or certain teachers that I have to have this. And if something does happen, they have to know what to do. But normally, for the most part, I try to ignore it, even though I have a 5-year-old that I have to chase. It's still, it plays a big part in it. There's a lot of stuff that I just can't do.
So you just try to live as normal a life as you can with the problems with the asthma that kind of interfere as you go.
Yes.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for sharing with us. This should help us a lot with our little project that we're working on, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Where should I stand up? Creaking.